Hey there everyone, and welcome back to a brand new Airsoft video, and unfortunately I'm going to have to start things off with some bad news. The Airsoft field known as Old Overgrown has sadly been taken over and destroyed by a small army of robot arms. Rest in peace. And as a result, it has left a seemingly large amount of Airsofters without a place to play Airsoft weekly around here. I only attended one of the games briefly myself, but the place was super fun and I greatly enjoyed what little time I spent there. I'm sure my audience has a lot of guys that play there a lot. What to do though? Where can I play Airsoft now? And for that question I am here to help with my top 5 favorite places to play Airsoft in Western Washington. I'm going to be going in order from my least favorite to most favorite, and then afterwards I'm going to be including some additional places to play. The only requirements for placing on this list is that I have had to have played the field myself, and well, that's about it. Anyways though, explanations are over, and let's jump right in. Number 5 on my list is going to be the Jungle. Oh, what to say about the Jungle? The Jungle is a field out in Arlington, Washington. What I've been able to observe, the Jungle has an active homeless population living on the outskirts of the field, and a lot of random pieces of trash strewn about in various locations. However, in spite of the downsides of this field, I would be lying if I said I had absolutely no fun here. The forest section, whilst pretty thick with sticker bushes, does allow for some pretty good firing lanes, and the fieldier portion with tons of scotch broom will leave you shooting at each other without hitting, resulting in more drawn-out firefights. Though I feel like with this list, I do want to be honest and say that, for me and my experiences, these moments are fewer and farther between. Also, treks to and from the spawn felt long and drawn out as well. However, I have heard of people ranking the Jungle as having some of their most favorite Airsoft moments, so if you're torn on whether or not to attend future events, I'd say see for yourself. Interestingly enough, 7th Group seems to not be making game days for there as of late, and had me wondering if anyone knows why this is. Please leave a comment down below if you do so. And number 4 on my list is the field known as Paintball Station. Paintball Station is a bit further up north on the map of the West Coast, being in Mount Vernon, but it is home to one of the largest urban-style fields in the area. As for many people, Paintball Station is actually number 1 on their list. So why is it number 4 on my list? Well, in all honesty, this is what it comes down to for me. Paintball Station is a fantastic field if you have a love of long-range guns and want to use them there. If you're running a long-range Polestar or DMR, you're going to have a blast, but anything less, you're going to find yourself outgunned and having a bit of a miserable playday there. Another thing I've noticed is just the flow of the map. A well-crafted airsoft field will allow for cover-to-cover movement and will allow for good gunfights to feel interesting and unique. Here, it feels as if someone had just kicked a million giant dowels onto the field for cover, built a big X thingy, and called it good. The field doesn't feel as though it was built and the angles were thought about. That being said, if you're craving some non-forced gameplay, Paintball Station has it in spades. And of course, it wouldn't be in this list if there weren't some things I enjoyed about it. So what do I enjoy, you ask? Well, to be honest, it's that they tend to host some varied game modes that I enjoy, and it's one of the few fields that I go to that feels like an actual event, as opposed to a place to play. I also enjoy the atmosphere, and surprisingly, their forested portions of their field are excellent. Some of the best I've played on, in fact. But, face the facts, when you come to Paintball Station, you're not coming there to play in the woods, you're coming there to play in the city. That being said, the scale of some of these battles are absolutely epic, and I would advise people to come and play here at least once just to witness the spectacle of it. Finally, we're getting to some of the fields that I really tend to look forward to attending, and number 3 on my list is going to be the Monroe Field. Realistically, the Monroe Field is a field that should be called the Jungle, but that name was taken. Anyways, the Monroe Field is both the closest and probably the most akin to gameplay that it used to be found in Old Overgrown Field. This was my first place that I played Airsoft, and well, there are some challenges, but I can definitely attest to the fact that it's an incredibly rewarding place to play Airsoft once you know the field. Monitoring at your enemy's positions and how to move, as well as how quietly you can move, are key factors here. Knowing when to retreat and when to flank is a must. I can definitely attest to the fact that nothing beats the rush of getting the flank and downing 3 to 4 players, then taking off into the brush as BBs fly through the air. Of course, this field tends to work out better with more players, but I'd say the minimum here to have fun is 8. And if you're in the mood for large-scale gunfights, the bunker mode that is often played here has got you covered. Number 2 on my list was a bit of a challenge for me to pick out because I love both these fields so much, but for number 2, I had to place the Mill. The Mill is going to be your longest trek, being all the way out in Cedar Woolley, but damn is it worth it. The mill is, well, exactly what it sounds like. An old inoperable tree mill that used to be used in what I'm assuming was the logging industry. The property owner still lives there, and there's numerous cars and construction vehicles to climb on and maneuver your way through. The mill itself is still standing, though, and can be climbed on to gain height advantage on your opponents. Oftentimes, trucks or construction vehicles will pass as you're playing, only adding to the sense of epicness throughout the playtime. It plays exactly as an urban field should play. And finally, drumroll please. Oh, no drumroll, never mind. This is going to come as no surprise, but it's Eagle Freak Airsoft, also known as the Crack House. So why is this number 1? Well, it's for a couple of reasons. The first is the speed of the gameplay. It is brutally quick, giving you only fractions of a second to respond to both threats and to opportunities. Whereas Paintball Station doesn't feel like it had much planning, here you can really tell how much work and planning went into the field, and it really shows. Gunfights are intense and fast-paced, and the littlest things can mean either living to the next encounter or walking back to the spawn. Speaking of spawns, They're so close here that you're not sitting waiting a long time to get back to the action. It's frantic, furious, and best of all, a blast. People that come here say it's a different kind of airsoft, and I couldn't agree more. The improvements to the field being made constantly, genuine people that care about the sport of airsoft, and an overall fun environment, that's what makes Eagle Creek my #1 pick for Western Washington Airsoft Fields. And, of course, here comes the runner-ups, the honorable mentions, if you will. These are here for a simple reason, and that's that I haven't really actually played at some of these places before, and therefore I can't give an honest and fair opinion of them. You have been warned. First up is the Tags field. Most I can tell from the footage I've watched, Tags is a combo of field play and a few limited structures and woods. However, I've heard more than a few negative rumors about Tags, such as lots of players cheating and guns that are way too hot going off at practically point-blank distances. Which means more than likely I'm probably not going to be spending my time and money here. I'm sure this isn't everyone, but I do want to be honest with what I've heard with you guys. Next up is the Airsoft Center, and in all honesty, both the prices and rule set here is what kept me from playing. $28 for 1,000 BBs and a 3-hour play session is the cheapest option I could find. Full auto and CQB is also allowed here, and I just find that both unnecessary and having the possibility to ruin games. Finally, there is NVR, also known as Forest Fire, and everything I've heard from this field actually has been largely positive. Best I can tell, the field is a mixture of trenches and woods, and I'm excited to play here once the opportunity arises. There you have it, folks, my top 5 picks for airsoft fields in Western Washington. If you have any questions or wish to dispute what I've said here, feel free to do so in the comments below. Subscribe for more airsoft videos, and finally, have a wonderful day, and peace.